Alright, let's dive into today's story. I've got a fascinating tale about Bessica Raiche. She was someone that wasn't afraid to push boundaries, whether flying her own airplane that she built herself or becoming a trailblazing doctor. Let's talk about how she made history and why her story inspires us today. Let's talk about someone extraordinary, Bessica Raiche. You may not have heard her name before, but she was a pioneer in early aviation and a woman ahead of her time. Her story isn't just about flying, it's about defying expectations and breaking barriers when the world wasn't quite ready for a woman like her. Born in 1875 in Wisconsin, Bessica Medlar grew up challenging societal norms. She was what people of the time might call a new woman. That meant she didn't just stick to activities deemed appropriate for women. She drove cars, swam, shot rifles, and later, wait for it, built and flew airplanes. Before aviation entered her life, Bessica was already making waves. She earned her medical degree from Tufts University in 1903 and specialized in gynecology, becoming one of the first women in that field. And when she wasn't practicing medicine, she was painting, playing music, and speaking multiple languages. In short, she was the kind of person who seemed to excel at everything she tried. Now, how does a doctor end up becoming a pilot? The story goes back to Bessica's time in France. She was inspired by Baroness Raymonde de la Roche, the first woman to earn a pilot's license. When Bessica returned to the U.S., she and her husband, Francois Frank Raiche, decided to try their hand at aviation. Back then, planes weren't something you could buy, you had to build your own. So the couple got to work building a Wright-type biplane right in their living room. Can you imagine? Bamboo struts, China silk wings, and bicycle wheels coming together to make an airplane? That's exactly what they used. And it worked. On September 16, 1910, Bessica made history by becoming the first woman in the United States to make an officially recognized solo flight. She piloted her homemade plane at Hempstead Plains, New York. It wasn't a long flight. Flying in those days rarely was, but it was enough to prove she could do it. In a time when most people believed aviation was too dangerous for women, Bessica was up in the air, proving them wrong. Now, don't think it was all smooth sailing, or flying, in this case. Early planes were fragile and finicky. Landing wasn't exactly graceful, and Bessica had her share of crashes. But what's fascinating is her attitude. After one particularly rough landing that left her plane in pieces, she calmly got up, announced she was fine, and instructed people to help her haul the wreckage back to the shed. If that doesn't scream resilience, I don't know what does. Her flights earned her a gold medal from the Aeronautical Society of America, recognizing her as the first female aviator in the U.S. That's a pretty big deal, considering the hurdles she had to overcome just to take off. And if that wasn't enough, Bessica also tackled the social norms of the time. When she appeared at the airfield in leather jackets and riding trousers, instead of long skirts women were expected to wear, it made headlines. She wasn't just flying, she was making a statement. But life had more in store for Bessica beyond aviation. After a series of crashes and health issues, she made the difficult decision to stop flying. It wasn't the end of her story, though. She returned to her first love, medicine. Alongside her husband, she moved to Chicago, where the two briefly ran an aviation school before Bessica shifted her focus entirely to her medical career. In 1914, she gave birth to her daughter, Catherine, and settled into life as a physician. Bessica's medical career was no less pioneering than her time in aviation. She became one of the first female specialists in gynecology in the United States. Her compassion and skill earned her a reputation as a trusted doctor in her community. By 1917, she had joined the Orange County Medical Association in California, where she became a prominent figure. In 1923, she was elected president of that association, a rare achievement for a woman at the time. Bessica's life was a balancing act of professional dedication and personal resilience. In 1925, her marriage to Frank Raiche ended in divorce, but she continued to thrive, focusing on her patients and her daughter. Despite stepping away from aviation, she remained connected to the field. Pilots at local airports recognized her contributions, and she was often seen flying as a passenger, still captivated by the skies she once braved alone. On April 11, 1932, Bessica Raiche passed away in her sleep at the age of 56. Her death marked the end of a life filled with groundbreaking achievements and relentless determination. She left behind a legacy, not just as a pioneer in aviation, but also as a trailblazer in medicine and a role model for women striving to carve their own paths. Today, her story might not be as widely known as some of her contemporaries, but Bessica Raiche's life is a testament to the power of courage, curiosity, and perseverance. She showed us that barriers, whether in the air or on the ground, are meant to be broken, and for that, she deserves to be remembered. Alright, so that's Bessica Raiche, an incredible woman who proves that with enough determination, you can take on any challenge. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll continue on. I'm Bill Riccio, and I'll see you next time.